And now we are going to go ahead and do her little bonnet. And I did get a request on this bonnet, so I'm going to have her sit there for just a moment while I get the material I'm going to use for the back. And the material that I'm going to use for the back is a felt material. And you can use whatever fabric you would like. I'm doing this as a simple way to show you. Get that material and find where I put my felt. I believe I put it in here. There we go. And the reason I'm showing you this is because not everybody has a sewing machine, and not everybody who has access to a sewing machine have the skills to use it, but a lot of us can grab a needle and thread and get going pretty quickly. So I have ivory thread already in this, threaded through this needle, so that's ready. And these are just the felt that you can get at any craft section of any store like Walmart. And take off the tag or the sticker. If you go to actual hobby store like Hobby Lobby, Joann, or Michael's, they have felt on the roll, and these are cheap and easy to grab, but you can find a lot of different colors on the roll and different thicknesses. But trying to, do an easy one for you guys that you can do up really quickly. So I'm going to bring her back over here, and we're going to kind of eyeball how big we need this to be. So what I'm going to do is, I already have a general idea of how big it needs to be. So rather than put this whole square on her head, or rectangle, I'm going to cut another smaller rectangular shape out and get that out of the way. And you'll just want to do a shape. I always say it looks like a loaf of bread, but really I guess it doesn't. Honestly, doesn't look like a loaf of bread, but flat at the bottom and then rounded at the top. So not really a, kind of like a thumb shape would probably be the better way to say it. If you fold it in half, then you can get it symmetrical, so you're not having to make sure that you got it correct on both sides. If you do it in half like this, go ahead and cut it once a little bit bigger than what you imagine you'll need, just to see. And I'm going to just go in a little bit. So there's the shape folded in half, then opened up. So I guess my loaf of bread isn't too far off. Alright, now what you'll probably need to do when you're done is do a little tuck right here to give it that shape that you're wanting, but you don't have to. And we can see how it plays out. Let's move this a little bit out of the way because I feel a little bit jammed up here. Oh, and I was going to show this fabric because if you do have a sewing machine, you can do the same shape like this. Cut 2 of these, then put the right sides together so the print is on the inside, and then you would leave this open, sew around here, turn it right side out, iron it, then at the bottom edges that are open you can hand whip stitch that closed, and then that's your back that you would add the lace onto. Just another idea in case you would like to do more sewing and to do something that's maybe not as simple as this. Alright, so what I'm going to do is leave a little bit of an excess at the end because this needs to be finished off. So you'll need enough there to make a little hem. And what I do is just, if there is a right side and a wrong side to your lace, you want to put the right side down. So this to me looks like the wrong side of the lace. And then, because the felt is felt, it won't fray. Well, it can, but it's not as bad as regular fabric. And then you'll just zip, zip, zip all around. And yeah, we're on a straight part of it, but when it starts to curve, and you could certainly, if you're worried about it, you could use pins to hold it in place. But honestly, this is pretty easy. There, we're getting to the curve, and because this this lace has give in it, we're not going to need to do any pleats or tucks or anything like that. This is just a very, very simple bonnet, guys. This is almost exactly like the one I did for my composition doll, Sarah. And I love that doll. That was the one I got when we were in a winter storm warning. It didn't actually snow much for us, but it was indeed a snow winter advisory, weather advisory out, and it was snowing. So that little doll has just got character, and so that's how I made hers, basically like this. And if it looks just a little bit big, keep in mind we got to turn it, and that will lose a little bit when it gets folded in, if that makes sense. And I think this is pretty simple for like a yard of this. I mean, you could even just get a half yard. A half yard of this lace. The lace can get on the expensive side. Hobby Lobby has theirs. They'll have 1 week, it'll be trims by the yard on sale, and then there'll be trims that are on the spool that are on sale. So it's 50% off every other week. So if I remember correctly, I think that this was one of the more expensive ones, but if you get it, wait till it's on sale. And if you don't get, you know, a whole yard, you even cut it in half, you know, get a half yard, you've cut your price in half too. And then pretty sure the felt squares, if you don't get it by the yard and you get the felt square, I think they're like I want to say they're a quarter. So I think you can make a bonnet. Of course, you'd have to add ribbon. So there you might have another couple of dollars. So I don't think you'd spend more than $5 all together. And you could probably get 2 of this size of a bonnet out of it. Now, if you're going to do a larger doll, that's probably where you'd want to get a little a little bit more complicated, I guess I should say. The bigger it gets, the more awkward it can look, if that makes sense. So this is a very small, simple item. What it's got going for is it's small. As this gets larger, the simplicity of it is a little bit more striking and not really appropriate for this style of doll, because this is kind of like an old-fashioned type doll. So if that makes sense, I think you guys get what I mean. If you go to try to do this on a really large doll, it might not look so nice. Alright, I'm at the end of my yarn here, or the felt. It's getting close to lunchtime. That means my vocabulary is a little bit challenged. Okay, so here's our shape that we've made, and what I'm going to do is find the top center and fold this in half, actually, and then I want to trim so that it's the same as this. And I'm going to cut just a little bit off of the other because it's a little bit frayed, but not much because I still need to do a hem. And the more you work with this, the more it'll fray. So I'm going to gently turn this right side out, and then I'm going to test it out on her just to see before I go any further. To make sure I didn't do something goofy with this. It's a wee bit bigger than what I'd like, but it's doable. It's doable. We still, oh, you're not even seeing it. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. It's a little bit bigger than what I thought, but I think... Okay, so let's move her back out of frame, and we're going to hem this. And what I'm going to do is turn it once, and I think I will go ahead and get pins for that, because I mean, you don't have to pin it, but I'm still having some fine motor skill issues with my left hand due to my pinched nerve, so I just rather not fight with this the whole time. And sometimes if you don't do a little 1 minute of prep, then your results are not what you would like. Okay, now I think there. So basically like that. So it's a clean edge. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one while I'm at it. So take my thread, and I'm going to grab that outside and pull it in. Well, you know what is a good idea, guys? You might not know this, but if you tie a knot at the end of your thread, that really helps a lot. Come on, Liz, get your act together. All right, here we go. Again. Take two. Okay, I'm going to grab that little outside edge so that it's pulled back in. So you can see it again, pulled back in. And I'm just grabbing. Didn't mean for that to cross over and make a knot, but it won't show. And you obviously get a thread that is matching your lace as much as possible, because even as careful as you can be, tuck that in a little bit better, as careful as you can be, you can still have the thread showing from the other side. Bump that. What I like about this is the thread kind of disappears in there, and if you can't get it all those loose frayed edges, if you get this type of trim or lace, doing this little whip stitch around really gathers it and confines it. There, jab my thumb. And you'll go all the way to your felt and then tie your knot. Trim and then take out your pins and then check out your work from the other side. And it's not really very straight. You can kind of finesse it a little bit, but that's all right. Now we'll go on to the neck. I think I like that it goes out that far. I don't have a problem with that. I could fasten it with the ribbon just here and have a little peak at the top of her bonnet, which is kind of a cute look. Or I could run the ribbon through just this outside edge here and see what it looks like gathered, and then it secures. So why don't I try it that way first? And you can use a crochet hook if the loops where you're going aren't wide enough to get through. But these are pretty wide. But I think I will this first area right here that's real small. I think I will use the crochet hook to get that, just that first one through. But the rest looks like you could feed it through with your fingers, or if you don't have a crochet hook, you could use a toothpick. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna get a toothpick because I feel like a toothpick is gonna serve me better here. All right, so I went under. I went over here. Under, and you might actually just be able to, let's try it this way, because this ribbon is pretty stiff. If your ribbon isn't, then it's not gonna work for you. You're gonna have to fish it through with a crochet hook or a toothpick. But this ribbon's pretty, it's cooperating. See, this ribbon is got its act together. It knows that it is time for Liz to eat lunch, and it wants to help me. So why don't I do time lapse right now, because you guys get the idea here. Okay, there we go. And if you have a crochet, one of those plastic crochet needles, or even like a larger embroidery needle, that would have been a lot more, it would have been a lot less work. All right, you want to leave enough ribbon for a nice bow. So, I am a chintzy cheapskate, as we all know, but I don't like to have to cut the ribbon again and again either if I cut too little of an amount or a length. But yeah, if you had a plastic crochet needle, you could have just done that like in seconds. I have one. I don't know where it's at. All right, let's try this little. Oh my goodness. You know what? I am liking that it's gathered like that. Now, if you don't like it running through there and you want to get real persnickety with how it is gathered, then you would just go through with your needle and thread, and you could secure the ribbon in these spots so that it's gathered how you would like. But I think it's fine how it is. If you go to do yours, then obviously you want to do it how you would want, how you think is best. But I think how it's randomly gathering is fine. You can always fuss with it a little bit too each time. So it's up to you. You can keep it loose or tack it down. I'm going to keep it loose, and I'm going to tie a little knot. Okay. Oh my goodness. And then, like I said, you can finesse this how you want. That's too cute. A little bit. So this would be where we would want to just take two little tucks right here and pull it together, and you can secure that underneath. Get my thread ready. Make sure it's got a knot in it. You do the same. We're doing the 2 tucks. 1, 2, bringing it together like that. And then it'll look like this on this side. And what I'm going to do is just go around the bottom edge. We'll hold that together. So you see? And this is the wonderful thing about the... Oop, I got a little lace in there. The wonderful thing about the felt. No frays, and your threads, your sewing disappears into it, even if you're a little bit on the sloppy side. So this is a really good way for new sewers and kids. This was a felt is really good for kids learning how to sew, because you have more finished results. Okay. And if by chance your stitches do show where you have sewn in your little tuck, a little thing you can do is tack a little of the ribbon that we used in the front to tie it. Tack a little ribbon down in the center, and that'll cover that up. Just a tiny bow, nothing really big. In the back there. Alright, and then I don't want to, it's not really a bow for use of any kind. It's just to kind of dress it up and hide. So I'm going to cut the ends off. And now let's see how it fits. And that'll give it a little bit of curve in the back, so it's not just that flat shape. Alright, lady. Little lady. Let's get this on ya. This time I won't do it too tight, or so I hope I won't. She's a cutie. I think this bonnet really does a lot for her. Alright, just a little loose this time. We don't need it covering over her. She's... need to be cinched that tight. Okay. Now let's take a look. Oh, she lost her booty. Little booty. Get back on in. I'll lift her up so you can see her sweet face. Oh, I like that a lot. I think that turned out pretty well. And really, the lace, the way that it's designed, really did all the work for us. It had this area right here at the end that could secure our stitches, and then towards the edge it's got the scallop, and then it had the holes that we could just put the ribbon through. And then we just, like I said, tucked it in the back to give her little bit of a rounder, shape that's more like a baby bonnet. And switch her back up here. Again, she's going up for auction. It will be for charity. 100% will go to charity, because there are children who are in need of many things. There are children who are ill and have chronic diseases, and they all need help. And if we all decided that our little bit wouldn't matter, then they wouldn't get any help. So it's everybody doing a little bit that helps. So if you're at all interested, stay tuned at the end for her photo shoot, and you can decide if you are interested. Again, she'll be starting out at 99 cents, and hopefully, I got my fingers crossed. I hope she earns a lot. I think this one will go to St. Jude's. This auction, I was going to do 2 for May. This first one will be to St. Jude's. And one of their things, advertising things that really, struck a chord with me was how you can give thanks if you have healthy children, and I do. I'm blessed with 2 children that do not have any medical issues. Sorry. But I do know children who do have medical issues, and one of their advertising things was, if you have healthy children, give thanks for your healthy children by giving to the children who are in need. So if you feel moved to do that, please look down in the description and find the eBay link to the auction. And if you go to look and it's closed, please subscribe to my channel, because I will be doing auctions every month, and they will start at 99 cents, so everybody can get in on it. And you guys, thank you so much for spending some time with me, and I hope you guys have a magical day. Bye-bye.